You're listening to Central Wisconsin's 24-hour information station, AM 1320 WFHR. It's time now for the Morning Magazine, brought to you by Comfort Air Heating, Cooling, Plumbing. Now, with the Morning Magazine, here's Carl Hilke.
Thank you, Jerry, and good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's show on AM 1320 and streaming live at WFHR.com. We also welcome my buddy Jesse from Wisconsin Rapids Community Media. They're here for the entire hour, as well as because Wisconsin Wood County Sheriff Thomas Reichert is here. He's brought along a special guest, and we will be taking your phone calls at 715-424-2600. With that, we welcome the Sheriff of Wood County, Tom Reichert. Good morning.
Good morning, Carl. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
I have to say, when I came in this morning and I was watching the radar from those storms that hit Minnesota and watching that band progress to our area, and I'm just glad it was a normal thunderstorm, because when the clouds, you look to the west, and when they were going through, I'm going, oh boy.
Yeah, we were off air. We were chatting a little bit about severe weather and some of our experiences with it and stuff. And it's I think you made a very valid point that it has been a while since a real big tornadic event has hit our state. And let's knock on wood. Let's hope that it continues to be a long time from now.
Okay. So you brought, I love it when you bring along a guest, and someone who's been here before. In fact, sometimes he's been in your stead.
He takes my place often when I'm not available. Captain Shawn Becker is here with us today. I thought it most appropriate that he come today to typically on this show at this time of the year, we talk about events that are going to be going on.
That's right.
Around the area. Shawn is very, very tuned into those events and is a part of many of them. He's a water skier for the aqua skiers, and just has really become an active part of our community. And with Blossom Fest coming up and so on, this is a very, very busy time of year. And your bride was talking to me when I first had arrived about 4th of July, and it just seems so improbable that 4th of July is only a month away.
Yeah, I know.
I know. Back in January, when I had decided that I wasn't going to seek another term, it seemed to me, wow, that's a whole year. That's gonna, it'll be a nice kind of slow walk out of being sheriff, and I can talk to all the folks that I want to and do the things that I want to do in my last year. And lo and behold, we're almost half done already.
I know. The same thing with our schedules and broadcasting. You're always thinking months ahead, and now I'm going, oh my Lord, we're halfway through the year. It's amazing.
It's gone very fast. But I have to say the last several years have gone really fast for me.
Yeah,
and
same here.
It's just been a long time ago, someone had said to me about how fast time moves when you get older, and it's true. It's exponentially moving quicker and quicker all the time. But it's kind of one of those, you see those commercials now for you're becoming your dad, or you're becoming your grandpa. That's me.
That's it. Welcome to Curmudgeonville.
I got that hat for free. I'm going to wear that.
Going to make Curmudgeonville great again. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. So, what anything in particular that you wanted to talk about today?
Well, Shawn has been working real hard on Farm Progress Days, which is going to be held in July.
Okay, I'm glad we got a program that it would have aired yesterday during the noon report. We're going to be rescheduling it. I think Monday we talked with one of the organizers of Farm Progress Days, and we've been talking with the ag agent and about it. And I'm glad you're here, because this is huge.
Oh, it is.
They're already starting getting that site ready.
Oh, yeah. Tomorrow, actually next week, Tuesday, they're going to start putting stakes in the ground, starting, with the tents, where they're going to go. bringing power in. It's just a huge event. I remember a conversation that Tom and I had several years ago when Wood County got selected for, Farm Technology Days. I'm like, oh, well, that's great. Just another event for the county. And, I didn't really know much about it. And as things progressed, we started, preparing for it. And then I started thinking, wow, this is a big event. And depending on location, you could see up to 15 to 20,000 people a day. And then I started scratching my head. I'm like, okay, we've got a lot of planning to do. So it was nice that when we got selected, we had 3 years to prepare. So once that happened, we selected Lieutenant Charlie Hugesteiger kind of be somebody that is helping me, on our end, how we're going to be planning and, the traffic patterns coming in and out of the show, all the safety and planning on site, working with EMS and fire, and then all the other committees that are involved in this event. It's huge. It was a very big eye-opener after we talked, and I'm like, okay, I didn't think it was that big of an event, and then I was quickly awakened to the fact that this is a huge event for the state, and with it being centrally located, in our state, just outside of Marshfield. If we have really good weather throughout the 3-day event, I would expect that we're going to hit that close to that 20,000 people a day mark.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So what kind of logistical planning goes into, from a law enforcement standpoint, for handling that amount of traffic, since it'll be coming from north, south, east, and west? Right. Basically.
Well, like I said, once we got selected, what we did as far as planning, we were having some of our command staff go to other farm technology days, such as Dane County, Walworth County. We went to all those events, sat and worked with their law enforcement, county sheriff's departments that were overseeing that event. So we got a feel for what we're going to be in for. Another thing, we also worked with the Marathon County Sheriff's Department and the Portage County Sheriff's Department, because recently they both hosted the event, and they're in central Wisconsin. So, getting the ideas of what to expect from them was very helpful, and that's kind of where we did our planning off of what they, that information they provided.
What did they tell these different law enforcement agencies? Was there something in common they told you?
The common theme is probably what we, as far as our end of it for law enforcement, is traffic patterns, traffic flow. Your biggest times when we're going to see the most people coming in, obviously in the morning, right when the show opens. That's when we're going to have a big influx of traffic come in. And then obviously when the show ends, everybody wants to leave. So we've got several of our deputies that are working along with our reserve deputies that are going to be at traffic posts throughout the northern part of the county, where we expect maybe a little bit more traffic volume coming in and out. We also reached out to the State Patrol. State Patrol is very gracious, providing several troopers to also be at specific, intersections that we feel that we're going to have some potential issues. Obviously, we've been working very close with the Marshfield Police Department, because a traffic pattern is going to come in from the north right through the city. So they're also going to have several officers helping us out throughout, the duration of the show. So it's a collaborative effort, not just with the Sheriff's Department, but with all the other law enforcement agencies that are in the area. We've reached out to Clark County, because I know that's another traffic pattern that's going to come in from there. There's really specifically 4 routes that we expect traffic, to come from each different direction: north, south, east, and west. And those are identified, and they're on the website. People can take a look at Farm Technology Days. There was a media day yesterday where all this stuff was, pushed out to people, what to expect with traffic. That's probably going to be our biggest concern. Looking at calls to service to the previous shows, we might have a fender bender here and there, but on site there really isn't many issues. We're preparing for them if they do happen, but the event goes off usually pretty much without much law enforcement issues.
Yeah, the big thing that's, and I've talked to the folks at Farm Technology Days, the big fear is a bad storm.
Correct. Yeah.
That's the thing that scares everybody, because you're out in the open in a farm field, and if a major storm, what do you do? Do you have enough time to get people to a safe place? So could you talk a little bit about?
Yeah, and that's some of the contingency planning that we've been doing quite a bit. We talk about any event that could happen out there that's law enforcement related. Anything to any type of emergency. We've discussed it. We've talked about what ways we're going to handle it, and that seems to be probably something that comes up the most. It does seem lately with our weather that Marshfield kind of gets a little bit more of the more severe weather periodically, so that's been a big discussion of how we're going to handle that. And we have evacuation centers identified, so if there is a storm coming, we know where we can get people out and get them out safely. We've got several buses on site, so if we have to utilize them to evacuate, we will. We're going to have spotters out in the area from the ham radio operators are going to be out in the area looking for any of that weather. I mean, obviously, if you look at radar, you're going to see something coming, but the eyes on the ground are very critical in those situations, because if that gives us a little bit more of a warning, then we're going to evacuate the grounds if we have to. But we're going to have a dispatch center up there, a mobile dispatch center with live radar going on. We also are going to have numerous strike teams with EMS, fire, and law enforcement on the grounds, utilizing UTVs on the grounds and basically kind of patrolling, just making sure people are okay. If there's a medical emergency or something like that, we're going to have a doctor from Marshfield Clinic on site. So there's been a lot of planning going on as far as, the first responders all the way up to a physician on site. We'll also have a helicopter there throughout the whole show unless they get called away. I really feel that with the planning, once, like I said, Tom and I talked about this, it's a conversation I won't forget. Got the green light, hey, let's start preparing for it now. We're in good shape. That's something that we started right when we got selected.
How quickly, if you had to evacuate, to say there's a monster storm headed toward and you get, your weather service says you got to get those people out of there, how quickly can you evacuate that area?
It depends. It depends on how many, like you said, how many people are inside there. I mean, yeah, if there are 20,000 people there, yeah, that's going to be a challenge to get people out. We're going to do it as quick as we can. We've got the sites that are available, whether we can get people out in their own vehicles. It's all really going to boil down to the notification that we get. That's one thing with technology, that if we know that a storm's coming, like we had mentioned in the beginning of the show, there's some storms over in Minneapolis, we can probably prepare that weather is probably coming. That's one thing that we know. If it's a hot and humid day, what does that breathe? Storms. So once we have that notification, then we'll work evacuation from there. We might even have to cancel the show. We don't want that to happen, but we have to look at the safety of everybody attending.
You folks are kind of in the same position law enforcement was at Erin Hills with the U.S. Open. A golf tournament. You got this, there they set up this golf village and golf stadium and everything for the U.S. Open. It took several months to build, or a year, and then several months to tear down. And then they had to worry about traffic patterns too. About if there's a storm coming, how do we evacuate a golf course? So that you're in the kind of the same boat. I mean, how do you handle?
Well, that's what it comes down to, the planning, the contingency plan that we've been discussing. If there's an area such as a traffic crash over in one specific area, we're going to know that immediately, and then we'll communicate that to not only our dispatch staff but the people on the grounds that, hey, this area you're not going to be able to leave. We're going to reroute you in this direction. Okay. So there's plenty of contingency plans that we've thought of, whether it's a traffic crash or the weather. Like I said, our safety personnel that are going to be on site are going to be closely watching the weather, and if it comes down to an issue that we know that, hey, there are some storms that could be an hour or two away and they're significant, then we'll have to make that decision about either stopping the show or, hey, making people leave.
And you mentioned accidents. With that much traffic, there can be an accident. How are you going to spread? What kind of message system do you have, like on the ground? Are there going to be some message boards around the grounds, or how are you going to do that?
A lot of it will work with social media. We've got a website as well going. Also, public service announcements throughout the show. We have speakers throughout Tent City and throughout the grounds that will notify people that if there is an issue in some certain area, whether it's on the grounds or off the grounds, we'll make sure that people are well aware of it and communicate that.
Okay. So while you are doing that, you still have the rest of the
We still have the rest of the department.
Yeah,
the
so
rest of the county to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that something like this represents a challenge for any law enforcement agency, and I think the true mettle of the agency can be evaluated in terms of how successful the planning process is. I am really confident that we are going to have this covered from top to bottom and from right to left. And I think that we will be prepared for any possible eventuality that we would have. And you know, you just don't you just don't get 15 or 20,000 people together and then just tell them to go away or to bad weather's coming, you better leave. You know, you've got to have a plan in place, and I think that we are. I think we are in superb position right now for that to take place. I'm really optimistic. Fingers are crossed that we will never have to worry about some of this, and all these hours of planning and talking and
will pay off.
We're unnecessary, actually. You know, that it'll be sunny and 75 for 3 days, and everything will go off. Everything will go off well. So that's the hope, anyway.
July 10th through the 12th, up in Marshfield, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The location: D&B Sternweiss Farms and Weber's Farm Store and Hyman Hostings, 9885 County Highway H. Now, what kind of infrastructure do you have in place there to handle that traffic?
Well, like I had mentioned before, we've got, there's going to be several message boards throughout the county and even going beyond the county, depending on what route you're coming in. And then, like I said, we specifically identified, intersections that we might have some issues with traffic flow. At those intersections, we'll have a law enforcement officer, there, whether it be a Will County deputy, a Marshfield police officer, or somebody from the State Patrol. So any intersection that we felt there could be, an issue or maybe somebody needs to go out and direct traffic, we're going to have somebody there. All right, and those are people that can be approached. If somebody's having a problem with directions, they can come out and, stop and talk to them. We'll have information. Each person will have information with them to get that person to the show. With GPSs now and with the technology, social media, people shouldn't really have a big problem, getting to the show. Depending on what direction they're coming, you can look it up or just put it in your GPS. The host families have been just awesome to work with. Basically they're giving up all this property for the show, and they've been just been awesome to work with.
Okay, yeah, it's quite like you said, the tent city. They're starting to build. Yep. And did you have to do anything else in terms of preparing additional roads or doing anything, or like parking?
Yeah, parking, if you take a look at the map, it's on the website, you'll see all the areas that there's parking. And depending on where you're coming from, you'll be routed to a specific area that will get you in and out easily to that route that you come in and out to.
That's kind of like what we do with the huge fireworks show here on the 4th. For folks coming from, say, Marshfield or Pittsfield, they park on the west side of the city, and then that way you can head back from the way you came. Yeah. So similar here.
Yeah, very similar. And the parking there's a parking committee that we work very close with, establishing, where somebody's coming in, where should they park? And, what are the high times where, we've even estimated, in this certain part of the state, we feel that there's going to be more traffic coming from this direction because it's more of a population of farmers. So we've established that, where we could see a little bit more high traffic volume based upon, what location of the state somebody's going to be coming from.
Okay. And then you got your folks that live in the area, travel normally. What kind of advice do you have for those folks? Are they going to have to make maybe adjustments for those days? Maybe avoid, if they're not going to be in that area, maybe find some alternative way to get to work or whatever?
Right. Well, we're going to go door to door. As we get closer to the event, several of people, associated and part of, Farm Technology Days, we're going to go door to door, and they're aware of this. I mean, they know that this is coming. All right, and now the structure and the work is starting to really, as far as the physical work, is going to be starting next week. But the neighbors, all surrounding neighbors of this event, they know it's coming, but we're going to go door to door and talk to them a little bit more field some of the questions that they might have,
Yeah.
and where can they park and what to expect, and if there's some issues that they might have, we'll address them and trying to help them out as much as we can.
That's what they did down at Erin Hills with the U.S. Open. They went next door to the folks in the neighborhood near the tournament site and basically had a conversation with them and said, this is what you can expect with a international sporting event like this in your small little village of Erin. Well, the same thing here. You got this huge show, and it's one thing. Oh yeah, I know it's coming. I know it. But when you actually see what's happening, it kind of.
And all the people that are living in that area, they'll have contact information to contact us immediately right on site.
Okay.
If they're having an issue, hey, give us a call. We'll send a deputy or somebody over to help you out. If it's just, getting in and out of your driveway, hey, I need to get to work at this time, we'll help you out. That's the whole point of it. We don't want to, I know it's going to be an inconvenience for the neighbors, but we'll work with them the best that we can.
I guess that's the whole thing. What I'm hearing is a lot of communication among a lot of different agencies, different groups, subgroups, so that everybody can at least kind of have a reasonable idea what to expect.
Well, that's the only way you're going to make the show successful is by communicating and having all the people that are involved working together, and then you'll have a successful show. That's one of the first things after we had heard that we're getting this show is we went to Dane County. They just completed their show, and just their wrap-up meeting, we sat there and observed, and that's when the light bulbs went off, and we're like, okay, we've got a pretty big event here coming. And then we sat down with members of the Dane County Sheriff's Department, and they brought up some good ideas that worked for them and what didn't work for them. We're pretty blessed that we have a reserve deputy or a part-time deputy group that we can pull from to help out with not only traffic concerns, but on grounds. Our reserve deputies or part-time deputies are going to help out quite a bit throughout not only the 3 days of the event, but we have a contract that we have to provide security 24/7, not just during the day, during the nights, and even previous to the event while equipment's coming in. We need to have security on site just to make sure that there are no issues.
And then we found out, and we talked about it on this show with Matt Lippert, as part of they found out Farm Technology Days was going to be here. And this large, I forgot this one type of tractor, this large national collection, this one group that's into their national show is going to be part of Farm Technology Day. So you're going to have some very valuable tractors.
Yeah, very much so. Antique stuff.
Antique stuff there.
Yeah, we talked to a gentleman yesterday that is, he's a couple hours away, and he has to do one trip at a time to bring his vintage tractors over. And he's going to do that previous to the show. He's going to start like a week before bringing his stuff. So exactly, we need to have the security on site. Once the equipment starts coming, we'll have people on site just to make sure that we don't have any issues.
And then you got the electricity issues. I mean, you got all, and the whole thing is hopefully everything just goes smoothly. And it's called Tent City for a reason, because basically you've just set up a temporary municipality.
Well, it's basically a little town.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct. It's interesting to just listen to this conversation, because when this whole thing started, the idea of Farm Tech Days being in Wood County originated in an office in the Chamber of Commerce up in Marshfield, and there were, I think, 6 or 8 of us around the table talking about this. And when we got to the law enforcement piece of it, and it was asked, is this something that the sheriff's department could handle? I guess that it was going to be a planning situation that we're going to have to be involved with, but I never in a million years thought it was going to be like that.
You guys are thinking something, it's like the Central Wisconsin State Fair.
Exactly. I was thinking something much more along the lines of that, and as it, I was confident. At the time, I was very confident around the table, saying, I'm absolutely positive that the sheriff's department can handle anything that we would have to come up with. Which I remain confident that that's the case. However, it's much grander than what. And to be fair, I think it's probably much grander than the 6 or 8 people that were sitting around that table that day were actually we're actually expecting either.
And it's much grander, and this is, before we go, I'll give this thought before we go to break, but one of the things they have pointed out, it's not just for farmers. They want everybody to come to the show. This is a great educational opportunity.
Very much so.
To learn about, hey, where your food comes from, and to see something of this magnitude. So they are encouraging folks here in Wisconsin Rapids, hey, come on up. You're going to there's going to be something for everybody in the family living area. And, there's going to be stuff for the children.
Yep.
And it's a fair in many ways. And so they want people to come. And I think that's when you add that in, and all of a sudden, whoa, yeah, this is really big.
No, it's huge. And you're exactly right. This is, you don't have to be somebody that's affiliated with a farm to come and enjoy the show. There's a lot of things out there that with
the
what you
food,
said.
if nothing else.
Yeah, the food. And it's just a great opportunity to see what this industry is about. Not just, the normal farming, but you got cranberries, which is huge in Wood County. There's going to be a big component of the cranberry industry. So it's, I'm looking forward to the event for a couple of reasons. One, it'll once it's completed, we can take a big deep breath. But number two, even more so, just seeing the people and all the work that's been put into this over the last several years, just seeing it come together. I'm very confident that, with all the people involved that have been working so hard to make this event, go, it's going to be a great show.
It's Farm Technology Days. It's coming next month, folks. It's going to be big, and you're invited. And the Wood County Sheriff's Department, as well as a lot of other agencies, are busy getting ready for the big gathering. It's our monthly visit with the Wood County Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff Tom is here. Captain Shawn is here. And we invite your calls and questions at 715-424-2600. You're listening to The Morning Magazine.
Good morning and welcome back to The Morning Magazine, presented by Comfort Air Heating, Cooling, Plumbing. It's time for part 2. Once again, here's Carl Hilke.
Thanks again, Jerry, and welcome back, everybody, to today's show on AM 1320 and streaming live at WFHR.com. 715-424-2600, the number to call. And we got an incentive for you to call to talk to Wood County Sheriff Thomas Reichert or Captain Shawn Becker. If you have any questions about Farm Technology Days and planning for that, or maybe you got some other issues. But we got an incentive. We're going to give away some coin.
Great.
Okay, so why don't you describe the coins?
Well, what the coin is, it's a commemorative coin. It's called a challenge coin, which basically acknowledges the Wood County Sheriff's Department and my time as sheriff. They're a really nice gold coin that's got several different colors in it, and it's a really nice collector item, particularly for someone that's interested in law enforcement or it has an interest in the Sheriff's Department. We're proud to be able to have these available for folks.
Okay, so we got 3 of them available. And so if we get 3 calls, the first 3 callers will get one of these coins. And 715-424-2600, the number to call. You mentioned, with Farm Technology Days, well, we got a big event coming down here in Wisconsin Rapids that has continued to grow and attracts people from all over, and that is Cranberry Blossom Fest.
Yep, that's coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
so,
it's going. So that is that kind of like the preseason, getting ready for some of these.
So it's a warm up.
Yeah.
Well, we had Dairy Fest, the Mayor's Breakfast last weekend, so that was kind of the kickoff to the summer is here. And, of course, the Sheriff's Department helped out with, Marshfield Police Department with the parade and a big event. So that was the kickoff. Lots of people out, last weekend. And then the next big event is, the Cranberry Fest. So that'll be coming up. We'll, again, assist the city as much as they need during the event, but things are starting to roll now.
Okay. Yeah, it's that time of the year. Well, let's get to our first caller. You're on The Morning Magazine. Who is this?
This is Al.
Hey, Al, you want one of these coins?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll give you. We'll get you one of these coins. You got a question or comment for the sheriff or our captain?
Yes, I do. Are they going to have a shelter they going to put up, or are they going to have somewhere to go if they have to?
Okay, so if there's some. Okay, what kind of? Al wanted to know about the shelter. Where would people go? Do you have in-place shelter if there's something going on?
A couple options. We can shelter in place if depending on what the circumstances are at within Tent City, or a couple other places on site. Otherwise, we have 3 shelters that have been established, and they're schools. They're schools within Marshfield, and we're also looking at a church as well. And plus, the state fairgrounds as well is another option that if we need to. So those are all established, and will all be in the book once we put that out to everybody.
Al, we'll get that coin delivered to you. He's my neighbor, so we can get. Pam will get that to you, my friend. So, all right, we got another caller. Let's get them. You're our next winner, and who is this?
Jamie.
Hey, Jamie. Okay, you got a question or comment for our gentleman?
No.
Okay, you want one of the coins? You got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for calling, Jamie.
Yep, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
welcome.
Okay. Bye. Tent City. I mean, how big? We hear Tent City. How big is this?
The square footage I couldn't tell you right now, but it is huge.
Yeah.
It is just huge. The ordering for the tents really went by each committee, and it's enormous.
Okay, our final coin will be going to this person, and who is this?
Well, I just called. How do you pick up the coin?
Okay, you can stop by the radio station here. You know how to.
Okay, where's the radio station?
Okay, we're located in the West Side Industrial Park in Wisconsin Rapids.
Okay.
640
All right,
25th Avenue North. You know how to get to the industrial park?
No, not really.
Okay. Where do you live?
I live in Hancock.
Oh, okay. Well, you'll be coming in from Hancock. Yeah. 424-1300 and talk to Pam, and she can give you some directions from Hancock.
Okay, 424-1300?
You got it.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay. So,
Boy, he's going to come a little bit distance to get that coin.
Yeah, well,
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
Sure is.
So, all these tent, and then you got different areas of the grounds and the map. Like I said, it's a in the middle of nowhere. All of a sudden, you have a municipality which will have 15 to 20,000 people.
Mm-hmm. And parking will surround Tent City, and then there'll be field demo days as well. Each field, they'll be identified to have usually equipment.
Okay. Who is this caller?
This is Matt. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. Okay, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Okay,
Just a question. You're saying how big this event is. Is this going to be like on the same scale as the Marshfield or Wausau Fair, or bigger or smaller? How would you compare that?
I would compare it to, I don't know the numbers that come into the Marathon County, fair, but I would think it'd probably be similar to, Marshfield's fair. The state fair up there would probably be close to that, but probably a little bit bigger.
I think it's a little bit.
Okay.
It'll be a little bit bigger than what the fair is, just in terms of numbers. Because I know the fair always tries to, on certain days, I think they try to target 15,000 people, and I don't know, they don't always hit it. So I think this will probably be a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Being that we're centrally located, they're expecting more bigger crowds. 15 to 20,000.
Yeah, a lot more highway traffic.
Yep. And if we if we get good weather, I think we're going to be really crowded. I bet we'll hit that 20,000 mark.
Are you going to go to it,
Sounds
Matt?
like a good time.
Matt, are you going to go
I'm
to
sorry?
it? Are you going to go to it?
I'm going to try.
Oh, yeah.
Wow,
That's cool.
what's the date on it?
The dates are July 10th, 11th, and 12th.
9 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
$8 parking.
Yep. No, $8
Admission.
Admission, free parking.
Okay, $8 admission, free parking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
And now you want one? You can pick up the coin here at the station, Matt.
Oh, actually, I got one from Tom earlier this year.
Okay. So then.
Well, I'll
Okay.
somebody else get it.
Okay. But thanks for the question. Great question.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Thanks, man.
So that means we still have one more coin if you want one of these coins. Yeah. See, the people, I'm glad we're getting these questions so people can kind of get it wrapped around their head about the size of this event.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm surprised about is that Jim Stelmach hasn't called for a coin.
I thought we gave him one
I
already.
don't think I did, and I don't think he's got one. So
Okay.
if he's listening out there, Jim,
Yeah.
coins for the taking.
Yeah, coins for the tape. Now, how many law enforcement people, depending on agency, will be on the ground site at any one time?
On site, we're going to have 4 deputies, two part-time, 2 full-time. At least 1 administrator will be there on site all the time. So we'll have at least 5 representatives from the Sheriff's Department. We've also, like I said, reached out to State Patrol. We expect that they'll probably have at least 1 or 2 troopers probably on site as well. And we've also talked to Department of Justice. The DCI is aware of this event, and they mentioned that they'll probably have people also, at least in the area. And we've reached out to the FBI as well. They're based out of Wausau, so they're aware of the event. Whether or not they'll send representatives, that'll be up to them. But several agencies are aware of it, and on site you can expect at least 5 to 6, representatives from the Sheriff's Department, and probably a couple, 2, 3 more at least from other agencies.
I'm glad that you mentioned FBI and DCI because, it's just nature of the world we live in.
Right.
We have to prepare for the unthinkable that someone might want to make a statement at an event like this.
Protesting or something along those lines. And, that comes together with contingency planning. That's for anything, not just weather, not just a traffic crash. What is the worst case scenario that can happen? That's discussed, and that's worked with, not just our agency, but the other ones that are involved as well. Fire and EMS, Marshfield Fire. If we get, some sort of catastrophe, how are we going to get, ambulances and fire and EMS? How far are we going to reach out to, other jurisdictions? How far are we going to get ambulances from if we get something like that? That's all going in the pre-planning.
Okay, so like I would imagine then, even folks here, the agencies here in Rapids, are aware. If we need you, and
we're going to reach out.
Yeah, and I guess that's standard operating procedure anyway. But especially on an event like this,
right,
where you got where do are you anticipating bigger crowds at any particular times during the day, like early morning or late in the afternoon, or?
Well, with traffic flow, we're anticipating early morning, probably starting, 7:30 in the morning, people coming in, even though the show doesn't start until 9, but we know people are going to come in and park. So between that 7:30 to up to 9 a.m., we know that we're going to have a lot of traffic coming in. And then towards the end of the day, we're expecting 3 p.m., 3:30, all the way probably up till 6. We're going to obviously expect that that's when the traffic going out is going to be significant. So, as far as specifics, during the show, there's so much stuff going on that I don't really feel that any one particular day is going to, draw people from another. I know that Vince Beagle is going to be up there. Some other celebrities are going to be up there in the parts of the event, so that could draw some people, probably will draw some people, but I know that that's all in the brochure that is coming.
And we have those brochures here at the station. Well, okay, real quick before I get to this next caller, for folks coming from Wisconsin Rapids, what would you recommend, Captain? what route?
Take your time, come up 73 up to 80, and you'll see the signage.
Okay.
Yep, we'll have everything marked for you.
Okay, there you go. Let's get to our caller. Who is this? Hello? Okay. No, over the back fence isn't on yet. I recognize it.
That doesn't happen as much as it used to.
They call up and they check. Hey, yesterday during the Rafters game, we were getting calls. I'm going, I told you, folks, we had Rafters baseball. Okay, let's get to this person on the air. Who is this?
This is Dave.
Hey, Dave. You want one of these coins?
Yeah, I'll take one.
Okay, you got a question or comment for these gentlemen?
I don't have anything about the farm thing that's coming up in next month, but I'm going to go to it. But what I'm concerned about is there a law about people in a crosswalk, people driving by?
if somebody's in a cross.
I'm out walking every morning, and I walk across the street, and I'm in the middle of the crosswalk, and cars that continue driving by. I lived in Hawaii for 3 years, and if you did that, you were arrested. You were ticketed. I mean, not arrested, ticketed.
Yeah, traffic's
But
supposed to yield
here
to
they don't
you.
seem to care. I even had police officers drive right by me while I'm in the middle of the crosswalk.
Well, if you're in the crosswalk, traffic is supposed to yield to you. So if somebody is doing that and then drives by you while you're in the crosswalk, they can be cited for that.
Yeah, well, like I said, I live on 2nd Avenue there, and I'm crossing right there by the by the state building.
Okay.
I'm in the middle of there, and I wait for 10, 12 cars to go by lots of times before I get a chance to cross.
You might want to contact the Rapids PD about that since you're in the city.
Okay.
That would be their jurisdiction. Now, you know how to get to the radio station?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, that's where you can pick up your coin.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for the question.
But that does lead into a question for how about pedestrian safety during Farm Technology Days. How are you going to handle that?
Right, there shouldn't be much pedestrian traffic coming in. Most people will be coming in and driving and parking. All right, but again, you need to follow the rules of the road. That includes the people that are walking on the roads and the people that are driving in and out. Be aware of pedestrian traffic. I'm not saying that it won't happen, but there will be some pedestrian traffic out there, but just not as much because most people are going to be driving into the event.
Okay.
People can walk there from Marshfield if they want, but most people I would say will drive in.
Okay. We got to take a quick break and be back with more here on the Morning Magazine. Welcome back to the final portion of the Morning Magazine. Wood Company Sheriff Thomas Reichert, Captain Shawn Becker have been here. We've concentrated our talk about the logistical planning to make sure everything happens that everybody attending Farm Technology Days can enjoy it safely, etc. But during the break, as Shawn also mentioned, that week of Farm Technology Days, there's also a state water ski show tournament weekend.
Yeah, so that weekend, once the Farm Tech event completes on that Thursday, we've already started with ski weekend, because ski weekend opens up on Thursday with individuals, and then they'll get into some team events towards the end of Thursday, afternoon and early evening, depending on how many teams have signed up for the event. So it's going to be a really busy week for the Sheriff's Department. But we've been planning on this for quite some time. When we find out when ski weekend is, that's an event that has been going on for over 50 years here in Southwood County at Lake Wazeecha. A lot of those things are set in motion. We work well with the Grand Rapids Police Department and all our Parks Department. A lot of those things are already in place. It's just making it happen.
And then just you break down from up by Marshfield and travel down the highway and set up in Lake Wazeecha.
Right. Yeah, and ski weekend has been a very safe weekend in the community. Yes, calls of service do go up in the city of Wisconsin Rapids and out in the county. But compared to when I started here over 20 years ago, we were very busy throughout the whole weekend, a ski weekend. But a lot of things, you got to give a lot of credit to the members of a lot of different ski clubs and the people that oversee the whole event. There's a lot of strict rules that the skiers have to go through, and if they break them, they're not skiing. Not only they're not skiing, but the team could forfeit, just if somebody makes some, dumb decisions.
Okay, so that's led to a much better event, and again, there's another family event. You were trying to encourage a family atmosphere where people can bring the family, enjoy some great water ski shows, and have some fun.
This is my 5th year on the team, and it is just I love it. It's just a great family team event. My daughter's been part of the team for over 10 years. And she had been trying to talk me into it and and I really ran out of excuses.
Okay, you're a dad.
Yeah, so the aqua skiers are just a great group of people that I'm really happy that I got the opportunity to be part of it.
I'm going to bring up something that I know eventually we're going to be hearing complaints about, and that is we're getting close to that time of the year when things go boom. And we're talking about fireworks. And by the way, for you fireworks fanatics, the first fireworks show of the Rafters season is this Saturday night. So you can get your fix, and a Rafters baseball football game this Saturday night at Witter Field. But
they do an awesome job.
Yeah.
I've got the opportunity to go to a couple games when they have everything set up around that outfield fence, and there isn't another way to really enjoy a fireworks show. You know, when you're that close and it's safe and you got a great seat, and they just do a phenomenal job with that.
So there you got a praise of a critique of the show, and it's a local company that does it too. But the question I have is, what advice do you have for folks who call in? I'll get them on Over the Back Fence. People going, fireworks are going off at 2 a.m. I'm really tired of it. Darn it, can't they do something about this?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a time of year when people are, letting off their own fireworks instead of going to a show. Our recommendation, call it in, especially if it's getting to be an unreasonable time, like 2 in the morning. We expect you to call. That's unreasonable for someone to be lighting off their own fireworks, at 2 in the morning, after midnight or after 10 p.m. Most normal shows are done well before that, and that's disturbing people. And you should call in, and we'll go in and investigate that type of complaint and try to find who's lighting them off. What is the law in the state of Wisconsin regarding fireworks? Basically, anything that leaves the ground is illegal. You can get some permits, but you have to go through a particular township wherever you live. But anything that leaves the ground is illegal. Okay. And also, one of my concerns, and I know fire departments in the area have this concern, you have professional-style fireworks being set off by amateurs who haven't been properly trained on how to do this, right. And that can lead to fire hazards, injuries, and also fire hazards, etc. Yeah, unfortunately, I probably every other year, we do handle an issue where somebody was hurt because they were doing exactly what you're saying. They lit off some fireworks that they weren't trained to do so. And then the other part is true is, you can start a fire. It could be a dry time of the year. You never know how the environment is, and you can have debris falling on a property. Yeah, you can't control the embers and that type of stuff coming down, and could cause a fire. The issue, like Shawn had said, if it leaves the ground, it's probably illegal. I think that this also calls for for some tolerance, I think, on people's parts. And it's a fine line where tolerance ends and annoyance begins. I know. That's why I brought this up. And we don't, at the sheriff's department, we don't want folks to operate in fear. Like, oh boy, if I go Big outside, Brother is here. If I go out with a bottle rocket, I'm going to get in trouble. We don't want that at all. We want people to enjoy their seasons. But like I said, the difference between tolerance and annoyance is a very, very fine line. And I would tell people that are going to celebrate and use things that go bang and pop to use them before 10 o'clock. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably a really good rule of thumb, in terms of times to set them off. There's a package of firecrackers going off at 2 in the morning is annoying. It truly is, and particularly like in a residential area. Or if you're a worker has got, a shift worker, got to get up at 5 in the morning. That's not going to be appreciated. So the tolerance line is certainly crossed, and we're well into the annoyance area on that one. That's a good demo. So I would say to everyone, if you're going to be using fireworks, use some discretion, use them early, use them safely. If you're at home and you're hearing it, remember that the folks are out there they're celebrating, and they're having a good time, and it's a form of self-expression, right? And take it easy on them maybe till 10 o'clock, and if you have problems, once that rolls around, then absolutely call us, and we will respond as promptly as we can. Well, like Shawn said, if it's someone's blowing off mortars at 2 a.m., that's a little much. That's a little much. And if something like a situation like that, if we find the people that are doing it, we're probably going to arrest them. Yeah. So just be smart. I guess that's the bottom line. Right. Be like the professionals. They do their fireworks, like the Rafters start their game an hour early on Saturday, so that they can get the game and get the fireworks show off in a decent time. And and I think it lasts about 10, 15 minutes or something like that. Just a great display. They're doing a phenomenal job. Yeah, you can get your tickets by contacting the Rafters ticket office. And you're headed there this Yeah, tonight we're heading over the Special Olympics. We're doing a check presentation to Special Olympics from all the fundraising that was done throughout the year. The biggie is the polar plunge. The event here in Wisconsin Rapids raised almost $100,000.
Excellent.
And that's since I've been involved, every year it's been going up and up.
That's
and setting
awesome.
records. So it's nice to see that we're getting some money to just a great charity.
Well, enjoy yourself at the game tonight.
I will.
And I'll enjoy myself judging and the ball game tomorrow night. I got the United We Can judging tomorrow. Guys, thank you so much, Sheriff. Thank you again.
You're so welcome. It's always wonderful to be here.
And you guys have a safe holiday because we won't have a show on July 4th.
I was talking to Pam before the show that we fall on the wrong date.
Okay, so you guys have a happy and safe 4th of July and happy Father's Day to all the dads.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and with that, we'll wrap up the Morning Magazine.